Sports Network. Up next is SMU head coach Sonny Dykes. SMU is 2-4 overall, 1-1 in the American. Mustangs played last Saturday at UCF. UCF won the game 48-20. SMU is idle this week. The Mustangs' next game will be October 20th at Tulane. Coach, thanks for joining us on the call today. If you would take a minute to tie up the game against UCF, please, and your plans for the open week as you get ready to face Tulane on the 20th.
Yeah, played a really good opponent. Central Florida's got a really good football team. We feel like probably the best team we've played this year. We've played three, I think, top 20 teams. We've had a front end of our schedule's been pretty tough, and a pretty good North Texas team as well, and so in a very good Navy team. So it's been a tough 6 games. Like I said, I don't know that anybody else in college football has played 3 top 20 teams. Maybe they have. I don't know who else has, but it's been challenging for us, and we didn't get off to a great start Saturday. UCF scored, and we fumbled the kickoff, and all of a sudden we look up and it's 14-3. Pretty quickly in the game, we got down 21-3, and so like at that point we settled in a little bit and got a couple of stops defensively and started to move the ball. We just didn't play well enough to give ourselves a chance against, again, very good football team. So, my hat's off to those guys. They're a good program. I think their quarterback is really a really good football player. I'm just was impressed with him on film and probably more impressed in person. And they're really good across the board. They've got a really good defensive front. I thought their linebackers played well. Got a pretty experienced offensive line, and then a ton of speed at the skill position. So it's a very good football team, and a football team that's going to be tough to beat.
Take questions for Coach Sonny Dykes, please. It's *1 on your telephone keypad to join the queue. Then the operator will introduce you.
We'll take our first question from Bill Emmety with 27-4 Sports.
Hey, Coach. Just was wondering, what's your approach to bye weeks and kind of the focus for your team this week?
Yeah, I think two things really. We've been a little bit beat up. We didn't play with 3 of our starting receivers on Saturday, and so and we haven't really had Xavier for any kind of extended time, or Kamen Freeman for that matter either. So we need to get some guys back healthy, a little bit defensively as well. We've just kind of been banged up, and so the focus is going to be on getting some players back. Getting those guys time in the training room to get healthy and hopefully have a full complement of players when we go play Tulane. And then we're going to practice our young guys. We were going to practice. We have a group we call a developmental group, and there's some guys that are playing for us, some on Saturdays, but not a ton, mostly on teams or whatever. And so that developmental group will practice every day this week, and they were going to practice last night, but we got we had some lightning in the area, so we weren't able to practice. But we'll practice them, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday this week, and then practice our older guys on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then give them a couple of days off. So it's accomplish 2 things really: get the guys that are playing a lot healthy, try to get them rested up a little bit, give them a little time away from football, and then really grind our younger guys. We need to develop our young players in our program, and so it's going to be a chance to accomplish both of those goals.
And then with Friday and Saturday and Thursday, and you guys not having games, how much of a focus is recruiting towards the end of the week for you?
Yeah, it's going to be pretty heavy. I'll be on the road recruiting Thursday and Friday both. A lot of our coaches will leave after the Wednesday practice, Wednesday evening, and mostly the coordinators, will be here on Thursday, and some of the younger coaches. And so, most of the guys will hit the road Thursday and Friday. I'll be local on Thursday and Friday both, and going to some high school games on Friday. And then we've got a couple of guys seeing some junior college games on Saturday as well. So it'll be a big 3 days for us from a recruiting standpoint.
Thank you.
Thanks.
We'll take our next question from Jerry Fraley with Dallas Morning News.
Hey, Sonny. As you mentioned, you've played a very, very difficult schedule to date. Do you factor in the quality of opponent when evaluating your defense's performance?
Yeah, I think you factor in everything. I think that's the, you always have to factor in, when you look at our points per game, we've given up some returns for touchdowns. We've given up 2 kickoff returns for touchdowns, or gave up a punt return for a touchdown. We gave up a couple of offensive touchdowns where they picked the ball up and ran it in for touchdowns, or intercepted passes and ran it back. And so, and all those points count against your defense, and your defense really had nothing to do with that. So I think when you look at points per game a little bit, sometimes that's not, that doesn't always really tell the truth about how your defense is performing. And then I think you also factor in the quality of opponents that you're playing against. Central Florida certainly, has one of the best offenses in college football, and they're able to run the ball and throw the ball, and their balance makes them tough to prepare for, because they're explosive doing both. And so, I think our defense has improved. I think we've played well at times. I think we've gotten some stops when we needed to. I think we got to continue to get better. I think that's, across the board as a football team. I don't think our defense is any different than our offense or our special teams in terms of what, we've been really good at times, and other times we haven't been particularly good. And so we're trying to become a little bit more consistent football team. And, from my perspective, we'll see, where we end up. Statistically, at the end of the year. I'm not big, mid-season statistics and all that kind of stuff. So much of statistics have to do with who you play, and if you play a really good offense, they're harder to stop than a really bad offense. And there's some common sense that goes into some of this. And so, we'll look at the end of the year at the statistics and try to make some evaluations on things we need to evaluate.
Yeah. Do you have any points of emphasis for the defense this week beyond just, as you said, getting healthy?
Well, it's always the same thing. It's just, making sure that we're, running to the football. That's the thing that's always going to be so important for us, is just playing with tremendous effort and toughness. That's where it starts. And then, we've got to do a better job on getting off the field on third down. I think that's been our weakness this year, has been third down defense. And we haven't done particularly well on third down offensively. Again, a lot of that has to do with who you play, and Central Florida is a really good team on third down, one of the best in the country. And so when you play against somebody who's really good at third down, then, third down defense becomes a little tougher than playing against somebody who's not good at third down. And so you try to factor all that in, and if you can, good luck trying to figure it all out. I just know this, we got to do a better job getting off the field on third down, and we got to do a better job converting third down for us to have the kind of football team we want to have.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Jerry.
And we'll take our next question from Leo Haggerty with It's Sports Magazine.
Good morning, Coach.
Morning.
Coach.
I lost you there. I'm sorry.
when you're talking about the next game, is it harder to get your team to focus after a big win or a big loss?
That's a good question. I think every team is different and unique, kind of how they handle failure or how they handle success. I think that's the thing that's, is and when you go someplace, when you're at a program for a first year, you're trying to figure out the identity of your team, just like your players are trying to figure out, the identity of the coaches. And so, there are things that you go through. I think with us, I think we've got to build confidence in our program. I think our players need confidence. SMU is a program that historically has been a really good football program, but in the last 30 years hasn't been that great. And so, I think when you're playing at Michigan or you're playing at Ohio State or you're playing at one of the blue blood programs, you know, you gain confidence from being there, you know, from saying, look, I put the Michigan uniform on and we're the winningest program in college football. Well, you know, we have to gain confidence from something else here, and our confidence has to come from knowing that we have worked incredibly hard and we have, you know, been willing to do more than our opponent has done in terms of preparing and getting ourselves ready to play. And so getting your players to develop that philosophy and to buy in to that level to be able to get that confidence, that's a process. And, you know, if you look around college football, you're going to see a lot of first-year coaches struggling, and especially with programs where, you know, they've been a little bit down. You know, the just sudden turnaround hadn't happened. The programs that have been good, you know, have been able to, you know, have sustained some of that success, but where they hadn't been so good, that the magic pill, you know, hasn't taken. And the magic pill is to work and to grind and to buy in and work harder than your opponent. And when that happens, then you gain confidence from that, and then you need to go out there and have some level of success. And so, you know, college football programs there's a lot of moving parts, and there's a lot of things that have to happen, you know, to develop into a consistent winner. And sometimes it takes some time. And so, you know, that's the thing that we're learning about our team is that, you know, we have to have the same approach every single day, whether we go out and we win, you know, 63 to whatever, like we won the week before, or whether we go out and lose 48-20 like we did the week after. You know, we have to have the same consistent approach is that, look, you know, I'm going to outwork my opponent today. I'm going to work as hard as I possibly can. I'm going to do the little things that are going to allow me to be successful, and then hopefully play well and gain some confidence from that, and you build your program that way.
Thank you, Coach. Enjoy the bye week.
Okay, appreciate it.
Coach, thanks so much for your time this week. Look forward to hearing from you once again next Monday.